everyone, it's Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I love doing nail tutorials. I typically do my own nails at home with some sort of strip. Some of them require UV light, some of them don't. And today I'm trying a new to me brand, Polish Pops. This is not sponsored, it's not gifted. I bought these with my own money. I just wanted to try them. This is what we get inside: a little buffer slash file, an orange stick, prep pads, usually it's just rubbing alcohol pads, and then the nails themselves, and a little instruction sheet. These do require a UV light. Most brands provide instructions, however, they're typically super basic. Even some of the brand tutorials, I'm not talking about Polish Pop specifically right now, but in general, the gel strips typically try to make it look super simplistic. However, I find that if you follow the very basic instructions, you do not get the longevity and wear. I'm usually going for about 10 to 12 days. I'm really happy with 14, however, my nails are pretty grown out by then. I've been doing my own nails at home for well over 10 years, and for about 8 or 9 of those years, I've been doing the strips. So I have lots of experience, and I have a lot of different tips and tricks to show you that will prolong the wear of your nails. The first and super important, perhaps the most important step, is prepping the nails. I do that by washing my hands, thoroughly drying them, not using any lotions, creams, or oils right before doing the strips. I also suggest not soaking in the tub, or if you're going to do that, maybe keep your hands out of the tub. You don't want your nail plates to be full of water, basically, when you start the application. Don't be alarmed at my skin. You'll see some things on my right hand here, and I've been dealing with very bad stress-induced eczema for about 6 months now. I finally got a script for it, but unfortunately, without a reduction in stress, all I can do is manage the symptoms. I can't cure it. And then here I had some of the case of nail greenies. That's basically when moisture gets trapped under a nail. It can happen with any brand. Press on, even sometimes under polish, and then it grows there, and the byproduct of the bacteria is this green stuff. It's no longer active, it's not spreading, it's not dangerous, and it's not contagious, but all it has to do is grow out. It will stay green until it's grown out. I finished pushing back the cuticle. You can use cuticle remover products or snip them or whatever you want to do. The pushback method works for me. And yes, sometimes people say to soak them before you push back, but for the reasons that I stated above or a little bit earlier, I don't soak my nails before doing them. I don't remember which design I bought, so this is going to be a surprise. Oh, awesome. Okay, these are really pretty. I will put links for everything in the description below, the nails as well as all the tools that I'm using. I also have a nails list on my Amazon storefront. You can look at all the nail supplies that I like. I typically don't like and don't use the included nail files, but this one is actually really decent and it's nice and large. So I'm going to use it to very gently rough up the surface of my nail. Nothing too crazy. I'm not trying to even get rid of ridges or anything like that. All I'm trying to do is give my nail a bit of texture, just so the nail, the sticker, can have something to grip to. It's a lot better to apply stickers to nail that's a bit rough versus a completely smooth nail. You just get better adhesion that way. But be careful how much you do that and how intense you go, because if you're going to be doing your nails quite often, you don't want to thin them out, especially if you try to grow them out. My nails are very long by my standards right now, and I'm going to be trimming them after I apply the stickers, because this for me is just uncomfortable at this point as far as the length goes. The nails are roughed up. Next step is to use a prep pad. This is okay. It's not the most saturated thing. I prefer my Costco ones. It's the Curad brand alcohol wipes, just because they're a little bit more saturated. I did get a comment from somebody that they recommend using a pad per finger to avoid spreading oils from one nail to the other. I don't know. I'm not going to use 10 prep pads every time. That seems excessive to me, and I've never had an issue with oils being spread around. But these specific prep pads, that's just not my favorite. I don't know. They feel dry. I like the Curad ones because they're very saturated in the rubbing alcohol. Here comes the exciting part, which is the actual application. I start by finding a nail that is close to the size of my natural nail. You don't want it too big or too small. If you do have to go slightly smaller or bigger, definitely go with the slightly smaller. You don't want anything overlapping the skin. I think this one will fit my pinky the best. I noticed that one side of the nails is a little bit wider than the other. I'm going to go with this side toward the cuticle just because my nails are a bit of a trapeze shape, so they start out a bit more narrow and then kind of flare out, so this will work best for me. I doubt it matters which way you apply it. It's probably just personal preference. Peel it up without touching the sticky part that will actually go on the nail. So I'm holding it at the edge here because my nails aren't that long, but the part that's actually going on my fingernail is not being touched. Now I'm lining up the sticker. I want it very close to the cuticle, but not overlapping. You don't want it too far from the cuticle because you'll basically start out with a manicure that's already looking grown out. You definitely don't want to overlap. I gently lay it down first just to make sure it's straight. Once I'm happy with the positioning, then I go ahead and press it down. Now some brands say to use the orange stick for this. I don't like doing that because it actually dents the nail, plus it just doesn't feel good pressing an orange stick that's stiff on this gel sticker. So I like using these things. It's a silicone tip cuticle pusher. I've had this for years and years and years. You just need one. I do have a lot more than one because they come usually in a multi-pack, but it's infinitely reusable unless you lose it. And I find that using these little silicone things really helps with adhesion, especially around the edges, because I can be a lot more precise in pushing it down versus using my finger pad. It's completely up to you if you want to apply them all and then trim them all. I do kind of a combination of that. I usually do these 4 fingers, trim them, and then do the thumbs and trim them. But right now, let's trim this one. You can just trim the sticker, but I am going to trim some of the nail as well. And that does 2 things. One, it shortens my nail, obviously, because I want it shorter, but also it makes sure that the sticker and my nail are exactly flush with each other, then one is not longer than the other. And don't worry about being super perfect at this stage. If something is a little bit rough, a little bit uneven, we will clean all of that up with a nail file after curing. Obviously, it's way too early to talk about how these wear or whether or not I like them or anything because it's my first experience with this brand. However, I can tell you right now that just applying them is fairly easy. They are nice and pliable. One of my biggest complaints about certain brands is that they are too stiff. And when the sticker starts out stiff, when you have to blow on it, rub it in your hands, sit on it, or do whatever, use a blow dryer to warm it up before application because it's so stiff, it's basically a dead giveaway that it's not going to last. And it's honestly, I keep trying brands like that that are way too stiff. This is starting to sound a little risque, but anyway, I keep trying brands like that, and I typically try to do my best to give them the benefit of the doubt to complete the manicure, but it almost always ends up being a complete waste of my time because those nails start to lift up and peel up at the sides, sometimes the same day, sometimes the next day. They pretty much never make it a full week, so that's a dead giveaway typically for me that the brand is not going to work for my nails if it's too stiff during application. I put the stickers on. We're not done yet because they need to be cured, but initial thoughts on the sizing. I wish they had more strips in the kit. They're not that many. If you make a mistake, too bad, because there are only 2 strips of each size. Both of the sides of this sheet are identical to each other, but each side only has each size once. Let me explain. So there's this size one time on this side and one time on this side. And if you only need one of that, great. But for me, my index fingers and my ring fingers and even my middle fingernail, they're kind of the same size, but there's only one on each half sheet of those. So I had to kind of make it work. More or less, it did work. Then I messed up an application on one strip and there was not another one in that size. So I had to trim a bigger one down, and all of that is kind of a mess. I prefer brands that include more than just one sheet because it gives you some opportunity to maybe have a little whoopsie and still have a strip to put on. but also it usually repeats some of the more popular sizes that are kind of in the middle, not the biggest, not the smallest, and that works for me. But there's just not that many here, which I guess is okay, but I really wish there was another sheet of nails. The next official step is to cure these with a UV light for 60 to 90 seconds, but I like to use this squish light first. Of course, somebody corrected me saying, well, the squish light is just a stamper. It's not a stamper, it's a light. You would not necessarily, well, anyway, whatever. Maybe you would stamp it with gels. I don't care. It's a UV squishy light with a squishy topper. I put saran wrap on mine because the squishy topper tends to rip the more you use it, and you have to replace them. Anyway, what I use this for, and when I press the button here, it does light up, is to apply pressure while starting to cure the strip. This is not a replacement for a UV lamp. This is just a pre-cure, let's say, while applying pressure to make sure that the strip stays completely flush against the nail. Now, this will not work. This will not do anything if the strips you're using are too stiff, like I mentioned. That's the worst kind. I really, really dislike those. But if the nails are good quality, like what these seem to be, or Ahora, or Dashing Diva Glaze, or Lid Gel, some of my favorite brands. I do have nail rating videos. I have a very, very recent one where I rate all the strips in order of preference, like worst to best, whatever. And so anything from the top of the list that needs to be UV cured, this really makes a difference, because I went from having snagging maybe like a weekend with Ahora to no snagging ever. And this is just fantastic. This mostly makes a difference for the cuticle side of the nail. I don't time it. I just kind of rock back and forth. You can see this in real time. This is unedited. As far as the timing, it's not sped up. The video is exactly what I do in real time as I blab at you here. So this step, while optional, it doesn't add too much time to the process, but it adds a lot of longevity to the nails. Now that the squish light is done, I'm going to go ahead and cure these. I'll probably do 90 seconds. A good rule of thumb is to check by gently pressing on the strip. You can see right now it's denting. Well, maybe you can't see it because it's dark, but it's denting when I push, and when they're fully cured, that should not happen. So if you're in doubt, did I cure them enough? You can try that. If it's denting, it's definitely not done and it needs more time. These are now cured. I did 2 rounds of 60 seconds. They're totally hard to the touch and no longer denting. I tried using their file to shape the nails because since I shortened mine, I basically cut them straight across, so the corners are really ugly. The shape is not exactly what I want. However, their nail file really is meant for more of cleanup of just little things and not straight up reshaping the nails. So I'm using this coarse file that I've had for a long time. It works really well, and just reshaping a little bit. Mostly what I want is to round off the corners of the nails, because these really sharp corners like that look a little bit strange. I shaped these more or less how I want them, and I noticed something really strange as I was doing that. By the way, these are UV gloves, because yes, I wear UV gloves. You can make fun of me for that. But on some of these nails, and this might be tricky to show on camera, but the top layer, which seems to be clear, is separating from the layer that has the dark blue. And you can especially see it on this middle finger right here. Again, very tricky to show on camera because I have this thing that's dark that's protecting my table, but also the nails are dark and the camera is having a hard time focusing. But I can see that very clearly in real life, and it's strange because it cured. It's not, I don't think I can just rip off that top layer, but there is a gap between the dark blue and this clear-ish top, and I don't think that was like that before I cured them. I did not notice that, and it's happening on more than one nail. So originally, but this middle one is especially, you can kind of see from this angle, see how that's a different color almost, and it's because it's separated. That's super strange to me. So originally I was going to go ahead and use this builder gel on top that gives them a bit of thickness and volume. It's definitely an optional step, but I'm not going to spend the time doing that because I don't know how well these will last, especially since they're separating like that. If you do want to see me use this, I do have a video where I show in detail how to do that or how I do that. I'm not super great at it, but it's nice, especially if you try to grow your nails out and maybe your nails are like mine, where they're a little bendy, a little bit weak, and kind of have a hard time being long. So I'll put a link to that video in the description. You can find that. All I'm going to do with these is put a clear top coat on. I'm using this Alice & Bella top coat. I've used this a ton in my videos because I typically just have one top coat on hand at a time. This one is a good one and it's a UV cured. This was gifted. The video is not sponsored. Because I have a ton of nail dust all over from shaping these, and then I touched the stickers a whole bunch on the top while talking and while figuring out what the heck this weird lifting is. I really hate how that looks. And I would normally go ahead and redo that nail, but I don't even have enough sizes left. And strangely enough, that's the one that I had to trim the sticker, and I wonder if trimming it is what messed it up. But also, this one has the same thing, this one has the same thing, and I didn't have to trim them. And when I say trim, I mean I had to make it more narrow. Obviously, all of them I had to trim at the top. This one is doing that as well on the side. I don't know what is happening. I don't know if that's just the batch that I got that was maybe defective or what. I've heard that the brand is releasing a new formula. I don't know if they already have or not. I think they have, because one of you asked what I thought about the new polish pops. I haven't tried the new polish pops. Perhaps they are addressing some known issues. I don't really know. If you have tried them, if you've tried both versions, let me know. Okay, what I'm going to do here is cap the free edge first. Make sure that I am covering my nail and the sticker together. I want them to be one unit, kind of encased in this UV gel. And then very gently, without going over the skin, just paint. The main purpose of the top coat is to prevent any lifting at the end, at the free edge. It will usually not prevent lifting or issues on the sides, which is why it doesn't do anything for formulas that are too stiff or for anything that might be lifting at the cuticle. Because typically, at least when I do these, I try to cover my entire nail plate with the sticker, and so the polish, the top coat, only goes on the sticker here. It doesn't go on my nail, so it doesn't do anything to protect the sides or the cuticle line. Now, a lot of you ask if the removal is affected if I use the top coat. I do have a removal video on my nails playlist. I will also link it in the description here, but no, the removal is not affected. I like to break the seal by basically pushing a little floss pick or something like that between the sticker and my nail, and then putting some oil in there or remover or something like that, and putting the floss pick, just running the floss part of it between the nail and the sticker and taking it off that way. Because the gel polish is pretty much only on the sticker and a little bit on the nail, but just at the edge, at the tip here, at the free edge, it's really not affected. The removal is not affected. You might have a tiny bit of the top coat left on the free edge of your nail, but usually by the time you're removing them, your nails have grown. You will probably want to reshape them a little bit, maybe cut them even like I did today, or maybe just file them a little bit. And it's literally just like a hair width of, or hair thickness of just a bit of the top coat on the free edge, and really, it really doesn't need any sort of special removal technique. If you get gel on your skin, please clean that off before you cure. Everybody's concerned with gel allergies right now, myself included. You don't want to get gel on your skin. These are done, and I honestly don't know what to think. It will be at least a week before I actually publish this video, so look in the comments or ask me how these are going, because originally I was super excited. The application was pretty simple. Really, they feel like they're good quality. They are thick in a good way, not too thick, not too thin. They hide my ridge as well. I like this glittery, shimmery, sort of almost cosmic kind of design. Don't love the sizing selection. That's not really a deal breaker, fine. but I really hate this weird popping of the layers, and this is going to bother me to no end. Also, I did my best kind of putting the top coat on here, but there's no way that I can seal that weird gap without getting the polish all over my hands. And as you can see, this is the hand that has all the terrible eczema. It's not too bad now, but trust me, it was so horrible. I couldn't even hold my phone without wearing rubber gloves. Like, this is terrible, just not related to nail polish or anything, but I definitely don't want to get gel polish on my skin. So I have no idea how this will wear, if water or cooking stuff will get in there. I don't know. If you ever had anything like that happen with your polish pops, please let me know. Maybe that's why they changed the formula. Like I said, I don't really know, but the color looks really good. The nails that weird separation didn't happen to look really good. They feel nice. I hope that they last, but really only time will tell. I have no idea. When I shine my flashlight at them, the sparkles are very beautiful, and it's difficult to show on camera because I have other lighting here, but just trust me, I'll try to take some pictures. And I always put stuff on Instagram on my stories. You can find me at KBeautyHobbit on Instagram, and I have a whole nails highlight. I post more real life updates on there, including about things that don't ever make it onto YouTube, so make sure to follow me there and look at my nail content there, different stories that I post. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any tips or tricks or brands that I should try, let me know, or maybe I already tried what you want to see. Check out my nails video playlist. I have a lot of different things there, brand tutorials, ratings, etc., some nail MLM drama, and so on. You can also find me on my blog, KBeautyHobbit.com, and in my private Facebook group, Korean Beauty Fanatics. We are at 95,500 members right now, which is crazy, but amazing. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope to see you in my next video, and until then, please remember to always listen to your skin. Thank you so much. Bye.